Hello, Riven mains and Yasuo mains alike. I am the Nightwing here at Inside for Nerds talking about G2 Esports today. We have some League of Legends news that I'm going to be breaking down for you guys right now. So, as you guys know, I am a Cloud9 fan, but I am also a G2 Esports fan. I love Ocelot. I love this org a lot, just as much as I love Cloud9. These are my two favorite orgs in all of League. Hashtag G2 Army as always. I'll have a G2 Esports jersey eventually. I have two Cloud9 ones. I'll be having a G2 one not too long from now. But so Mikyx did a interview with the shot caller not too long ago, probably about just yesterday actually, talking about his wrist hurting, and we saw the same issue happening with Grig from TSM, and we had some players more recently come out and say they have wrist issues and stuff like that. So after that, people started relating back to, oh, maybe that's the reason why that G2 started slightly underperforming in their games. As you can see, Mikyx is actually still playing pretty decent, If you look at some of the games, he's actually still playing pretty decent, but as you can see it in his play, he just can't play the way he wants to with Perks right now, because Perks probably feels like that if he makes Mickey play as hard as he can, then it's going to hurt him, and he probably doesn't want to do that. You want to make sure your duo partner is at good health. Last year, he talked about he had this thing during the Misfits series in the regional qualifier with Sprice, where he had some problem with his face and he couldn't really focus, and he felt like he was the reason why they threw that series. So he's been going through a lot of medical trouble. I wish you all the best, Mickey. You've been a fantastic player for G2 so far in getting us to first place and stuff like that. So I really, really hope you make a speedy recovery. But the big thing about this is that with Mickey kind of subbing out, who was supposed to take the place of Mikyx? There was rumors that Promisq from H2K that went H2 and 16 oh my god, last year was going to be subbing in for Mikyx. Now, initially, this is going to come off as a pretty bad move from a lot of people, given the fact that they don't value Promisq very highly. That's something that a lot of players just don't do. But a lot of the pro players value him very, very heavily. So let's read the G2 Esports official statement. League of Legends roster updates. G2 announces the addition of Hampus, Michael, Promisq, Abrahamson to their League of Legends roster as a substitute support player. With our first place playoff position secured in the League of Legends European Championship, we are happy to announce an addition to our League of Legends team to bolster our roster as we've head into playoffs. We welcome 25-year-old Promisq as our second substitute player, filling in the support role and joining Thebus as the second substitute for the main roster. Thebus is on the Academy roster. They don't really talk about the Academy rosters as much in G2, but or just overall, the overall LEC really doesn't focus on the Academy scene like the NALCS does, because their main rosters are always usually locked and loaded, except for Rogues. As our coach, Grabs, discussed in a recent Twitter post, Mikyx, our primary support player, has been struggling with chronic wrist injuries that have exacerbated since the beginning of the split. We've done everything we can to support Mikyx, including facilitating visits to specialists who have prescribed treatment and rest. As we've drawn closer to the end of the split, the team has made a decision to reduce his play in our scrims and remove solo queue play obligations entirely. We are putting all our efforts into Michael's recovery and treatment, and the addition of Promisq is an extension of our efforts. Promisq will remain a member of the roster until May 20th, meaning he will remain with us through playoffs and potentially the mid-season invitational. Our intention for Mikyx is to remain as our primary support player for the rest of the split, and Promisq to step in when required. Mikyx is a true competitor, and as such, naturally wants to be involved in our campaign to be the first ever LEC champions. We admire his determination. However, we simultaneously want to ensure that he is able to prioritize his health with the peace of mind that the team will still be able to perform. As a tenured professional player that has played in the LCS many times, Promisq is a welcome addition to our team that we are confident can step up to the Rift. Should the need arise in the coming weeks, he has already been scrimming with us these past few weeks, and we have made arrangements for him, to join us in Berlin and Rotterdam. If you would like to know more about Promisq, be sure to follow him on Twitter and Twitch. As always, we wish to thank you for your continued support. This has been an incredible first split of the LEC, and we are excited to travel to Rotterdam to fight for the LEC Spring title. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch. #G2Army, as I had to put that there. So, what is my initial thoughts on this? Normally, as I've seen Promisq, as much as I've seen him when it was called the European LCS, it wasn't really that good. But since he's already been scrimming with them, for them to lock him in as a substitute support player, he must have shown something. He was always a player people talked about as like, he's good in scrims, but it can't translate to stage. Now, with a better team, hopefully that's the case. Hopefully that's the case in which, like, G2, in my own personal opinion, even with their recent struggles during the split, should still be able to win the split, given the fact that they still have 4 other star players in every single role. If Promisq is, what's a support I could really compare him to? If he was basically a solid support that did what he needed to do, facilitated perks, got perks just through laning phase, and then perks can pop off in team fights, then that's perfectly fine for what he can do. I don't think he needs to come in here and be a star player. I don't think anybody is expecting that, but if he is, that's totally fine. But I think that he can come in here and play pretty freely, considering the fact that no one is really checking for him. And nobody is really trying to, think of him as a good player right now. Because looking back from his past, it looks like he's not a good player. But they've obviously been screaming with him for a bit. They've obviously chosen him for a reason. Even though, hey, it might have been last minute. But, hey, they're a premier esports organization. They're not just successful in League. They're successful in a lot of other things, too. You look at their Rainbow Six team. You look at that CSGO team they have. Whoo! They are absolutely incredible. So, yeah, Promisq is joining G2 as a substitute. I don't know specifically at this moment if he will pan out on the roster. Like, if Mikyx does get better, will they still keep him? Like, it could be a situation in which what you have with TSM and with Grig is that, like, yes, Grig could get better, and he probably has already gotten better, but since Acadian has been playing really well, they keep Acadian. I don't think that's going to happen with this, given the fact that we've seen enough out of Promisq already. We've kind of already know what we're going to get. If he is just as decent as Hakuo is, that would be just fine for them. He doesn't have to come and be a star player. He doesn't have to come in feeling a lot of pressure, but he's going to feel pressure because it's G2. Now, I don't know specifically if he's going to be playing in the next week for week 9. I think it would be good for him to play in week 9, considering the fact that it would give him the stage experience that he hasn't gotten on the LEC stage all split since his last year on H2K. And I think that being on G2 is going to give him a little bit more of a shining light than it did on his other rosters, given the fact that his other rosters were bad. And I'm still never going to forget H2K16. Whew! That was terrible. That was a terrible, terrible roster. And no, I still don't think Sheriff's good. He's just getting... he's decent. Sheriff's decent. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about Promisq joining G2. Let me know what your comments, your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. #G2Army. Let's see if they play him this week. If they play him this week, I think that's just a good idea. I don't think Mikyx should be playing right now at all with his wrist injury. I actually have wrist issues as well. I had those before. I just, stopped playing for a bit. And I just more recently started playing the game again because my wrist would hurt. The same way he described it, you have this sharp pain that would come into one of your fingers. And I was like, I'm not dealing with that. Nope. I'm like, I had this problem for like twice in my league, 10 years for playing League. So that's something to go through as well. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy Inside for Nerds signing out. I'm the Nightwing. Peace out. Bye. Have a good day. There's more content coming out later on today. So make sure you guys keep that notification bell enabled.